Good morning, everybody. We're going to get us started this morning. The kindergarten teams introduce themselves. I am Hope Maynard.
I'm Shannon Doyle.
I am Jenna Hahn.
And I'm Courtney Hopgood.
And we are, just to say, we are all together, but we are all 6 feet apart. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen.
I'm just going to jump in super quickly since there's some kind of a funky echo. If we can remind everyone just to keep you muted, that helps with that back noise. And then if you have questions, feel free to put those in the chat. And while I stole the screen, I'll just introduce myself very quickly. I'm Liz Getz. I'm the principal over at Sylvan Park. Welcome, Panthers, new Panthers, baby Cubs. Glad you're here. This will be a shameless plug. Feel free to look at our spirit wear through PTO and get some new gear so you can wear those to school. Are you still with me, Hope?
We're still here.
Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much, just wanted to say hello. I'll let you guys take it away. Hopefully that echo goes away.
First thing, can you see my screen? Okay. The first thing we're going to talk about is the schedule for kindergarten. So on Mondays through Friday from 8:15 to 9:15, we will have ELA and SEL, which is English Language Arts and Social Emotional Learning. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 9 office hours. Then Thursday is personal learning time. And then 12:15 to 12:50 Monday through Friday is math. Monday through Thursday from 1:10 to 1:45 is social studies and science. And then 2:15 to 2:45 Monday through Thursday is related arts.
Okay, so your child will be participating in synchronous and asynchronous learning this year while we're online. And the synchronous part just means
you're
that it's
probably wondering what.
Do you want me to take this one or?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So synchronous learning is real time. So that's when we will have our scheduled Teams meetings with our students where they can be actively engaged in our talking and conversation. The asynchronous is when you're working on your own schedule. And for the asynchronous, that is when they're going to be doing the Florida Learning Virtual Curriculum, which we'll talk about more later with the whole parent population. We're going to be learning about it as teachers this week also. But that is done online through Schoology, and you'll get information about how to log into Schoology and how to access all of that. And that can be done anytime. So there are like recommended schedules for doing that, but that's when you fit it in for your schedule, because we know parents are having to work from home also, or maybe having to go in. So that website is available, like the Florida curriculum is available 24 hours all the time. So that will be the asynchronous. The synchronous part, again, is when we're going to be on our Teams meeting, kind of like we're doing right now with a Zoom, and kids can participate in that, and just some different activities that might happen during that time, some read alouds, some phonemic awareness activities, some phonics activity, a chance to just in the beginning just get to know each kid in the classroom and let them get to know each other, just building that classroom community. And then for math, it might look like having some counting videos and some counting practice, then some small group instruction. And then science and social studies, we might read a book, we might do like an experiment as best as you can through a computer. And then always allow time for students to connect with each other and to ask questions during that time.
I will jump in here very quickly since we've gotten lots of questions about this, and Ms. Hobgood likely just said that, but I will re-emphasize the synchronous learning is not mandatory or required. So a lot of folks are worried about their working, or even if you're home, you're trying to juggle 3 kids on all these different learning sessions. The synchronous learning is kind of bonus material, if you will. All of those lessons will be recorded and stored in Schoology, so you can watch them at a different time if that better fits your schedule. Or if you can only make it a couple of days a week because you want your child to be seeing and meeting their classmates and their teacher, then that is good as well. So I don't want people feeling pressure. What if I can't make this session or that session? None of that synchronous learning is required.
And just to piggyback on that too, I feel like in kindergarten, a lot of us, especially in that first time, will do kind of like a morning meeting. So even if you can only get on for like the first 15 minutes, that will be a lot of the time we'll spend in that 15 minutes just building that classroom community and getting to know each other. So even if you could only log on for that part for your kid to be engaged, and then you have to log off and watch the rest on video, there's, you know, all of those options, whatever works.
So some hands-on activities that you can do at home. You know, we are going to be in front of a screen for a couple hours a day. So some different activities you can do to help reinforce the concepts we're learning are to make letters and numbers out of Play-Doh, shaving cream, sand, just anything getting them, making those letters and numbers with their hands. You can practice counting using different objects. You know, ask them how many squares they can find in your house, or how many chicken nuggets you gave them for dinner. Write your name with paper and pencil, chalk, finger writing again in sand, shaving cream, and practice cutting on lines, both straight lines and curved lines. That will be a big help for us. So helping to create a good student workspace for your child, comfort is super important. It's really important for them to be comfortable. You know, that may look different for every kid. So talk to your child about how they would be most comfortable. Focus, it's super important. You know, kindergartners have some, you know, need some help focusing. So try and make sure, if you can, that the TV's off, that there are like very few distractions in the room. Make sure their materials are close by. You know, when they get on, do they have a pencil and paper and crayons right there? And flexibility, you may have to move your space. It may not be working. Just try and be flexible with it, because we're all learning.
And as we hopefully move towards in-person learning eventually, just some things that you can practice on with your child at home in the meantime before we're back in school is practicing at lunchtime, opening juice boxes or milk cartons, sticking their straw into their juice box, opening and closing those Ziploc bags. Have your child practice taking out and putting away their own materials independently. Self-care ideas, just like buttoning and unbuttoning their clothing, or zipping or unzipping jackets. Practice shoe tying, another big thing at home. If you could help your child practice taking on and off a mask, and practicing opening water bottles. And online, if you go to www.mmps.org/backtoschool, you'll find a wide variety of resources, and especially there are some online trainings for parents as we try and navigate these different online platforms such as Schoology, There's one part on July 30th from 1 to 2 p.m. or 6:15 to 7:15 p.m. And there's a second session on August 6th from 5 to 6 p.m. And these will be on Facebook Live and again posted on that MMPS/back to school website. And we can check the chat box. If anyone has any questions, you can write those right in the chat box.
And while we're waiting on that, we have some other staff members on. So Ms. Hewitt, Ms. Calverley, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Miss Calverley. The kids know me as Miss C. I'm the librarian at Sylvan Park, so you'll be hearing from me. I will be helping out a lot. I generally help out a lot with the logging in and the Clever badges, which is a little QR code your kid will receive that will help them log in. They hold it up to the camera and then it'll log them in. And I just want to say hi. I'll get to know you guys soon.
Ms. Williams, our e-teacher, is on as well, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am one of the EE or special ed teachers at Sylvan Park. So you may see me walking around the halls or whatever, and I hope to work with some of your children.
We have a couple of questions coming in the chat that I can address very quickly. There's a question about, will asynchronous learning be on the computer also? And the answer is yes. That will all be computer-based. There will be supplemental materials that the district is sending out, but those dates and distribution, those deployments are yet to come. So I'm thinking it'll be sometime after the 10th. I keep hearing August 10th as a date for materials to be sent to schools in a deployment. And that includes folks who expressed a need for school supplies. So school supplies will be coming, supplemental materials. There will be little readers, is my understanding. And someone's asking, can we explain which parts of the schedule are live with teachers and opportunity to see their classmates? So we are creating a Weebly site, and we will send out that link to you. We learned in the spring that parents were getting a little bit lost between links. You know, they had to go here for this information, here for that information, over here. We're trying to condense that, so we heard you. We're trying to put all the information in one location. And so you'll be able to go to that Weebly site. You will be able to look under kindergarten team, and they're all doing the same schedule, and you will see the schedule on that page will tell you exactly when they are doing that face-to-face learning. We also had that schedule posted, should be on that sylvanparkschool.org site. So if you are on that site, the virtual schedule is posted there. So it's 2.5 hours of FaceTime a day with classmates. The 2 half days next week. So I'm not certain if the district has said this publicly or not, but next week's focus is SEL, so social emotional learning. They are creating SEL lessons that will be asynchronous. So next week essentially will be students getting their computers, figuring out how to log on, figuring out where they're supposed to go, and the district is posting lessons. So essentially next week, there should be more information coming from the district about how that will look, but there will be lots of lessons available for you to log into. And and next question is what will happen during office hours. So teachers, again, their office hours will be posted on that Weebly site, and all of kindergarten has the same office hours, so you'll know exactly when you can access them. That would be a time for if a child has maybe they have a question that they haven't been able to get answered in a group, so they might get a little, you'll be able to schedule times with the teachers. So we have more to learn about that as well. That will be a common answer that you're gonna hear from us, but there is an app that you can schedule and book. You know, I need 10 minutes with this teacher during this time, and so a parent could have a quick talk with the teacher, a student could book a quick time, so that's what the office times are designed for. And what happens during PLT, more information is coming on that. That In person, obviously, is when we typically split out kids based on the assessment that we do at the beginning of the year, depending on their needs. And so the district has purchased interventions that can be completed virtually. And so when all of that information comes out, PLT will be, that stands for personal learning time. So that's how that will look. Where there'll be small groups or only the whole class. Hi, Miss Williams. I said that because you took over my screen and my chat box disappeared. Sorry, I lost the question. How will we find out how to log in and what exactly we do to log in? And there's confusion between Clever and Schoology. So Schoology is where all of the Florida virtual learning curriculum or modules will be housed. Again, I really encourage you, all of these technology questions, Schoology questions, anything related to that, please, please, please make time to go to those sessions, because it's not anything we can explain in a couple of minutes. It's really something that if you're not tech savvy like myself, which I am learning, then you'll need to sit in on some of those sessions to be able to help your students.
And I can jump in a little bit and just explain the Clever is the login method for Schoology. So your children will receive a little QR code and they'll go to a website, Clever, I think it's clever.com or clever.org, and they click on it. They just hold the badge up, and then once they're in, they just click on Schoology and they're in. So it makes it really easy for little people to get on there. So it should be simple once you receive the badge.
And yeah, thank you for saying that. Clever also will be on any of those apps. Those will be on that Weebly site, correct, Ms. Calverley? And they can just, so again, that.
When the Weebly site will just have a link to Clever, you can't miss it. The kids will get very good at it. I have a rising first grader, and last year she became a Clever expert. So they'll get really good at it.
Question about when you'll find out who your kids' teachers are. We were ready for that one. Yes, obviously we can't have our normal ice cream or come meet your teacher or see the rosters at the building. And so today is a full day of professional development for the teachers, and we have carved out time for them. They are getting their rosters today, and we've carved out time for them to contact the students in a class. So you'll be getting some form of communication from the teacher, likely an email. I'm just saying, hi, I'm your teacher, super excited, that kind of thing. And some folks might use different methods. So you will be contacted today and find out who your teacher is. If you don't hear from anyone today, then contact the school tomorrow. That might mean there was an issue with enrolling, or maybe some of your information, the numbers are not correct in our system. So let us know tomorrow if you don't hear from somebody. Going on down.
Ms. Getz, can you talk about the portal and how families get the code, the activation code to get on the portal? And then where they can get grades and look at their kids' schedules.
Ms. Calverley, can you speak to that, please?
Could you repeat? Sorry, I was in the chat.
Okay. So we've had a couple questions about this, and I remember questions about this from last year too. So the family portal, that is, where you can look at your kids' grades and you can also see their schedule. They need an activation code, and I don't know if that's the school or from MMPS, but there was a lot of confusion about that.
You get it from the school. I think if you contact the office, they can get that for you. I know that that's what's been done in the past. I don't know if there's a mass, like when we start though, if they send it out to everyone in the beginning, because normally it's people who just never got it. So I'll ask the office and find out.
So I'm seeing questions again about synchronous and asynchronous learning. the best way that I have found to remember it for me, synchronous starts with an S, and so does students. So that would be when we have that face-to-face time with students. The synchronous, this face-to-face student time, that is the part that is not required. So there was a question about, is synchronous required or not? Synchronous, the student face-to-face, the live sessions, those are not required. You will receive from the teachers also, access to that Florida virtual learning curriculum. That is where attendance will be taken, and that is where your assignments will be, and the teachers will be giving feedback, and that's where they will be grading. So it is actually the part that is not face-to-face, that part is mandatory. That part you can schedule anytime, any place, anywhere. So you actually, in terms of attendance, all you need to do is log in to that Schoology / that Florida virtual learning system, and you will be counted as attending. Even if you're only on for 30 seconds because you have whatever going on that day, you logged in, you log out, well, you attended that day. You will still be responsible for the materials, but maybe you're gonna on Tuesday do Monday and Tuesday all together. So I hope that clears some of that up. So question about how large the classes are. They are actually, our enrollment is becoming healthier than it looked at first. So right now we have probably an average of about 15 a class. Typically that's close to 20. So we are still, that's really small. If they stay at 15, then you guys might be the luckiest kindergarten class that's gone through in a while. We would love it to be 15 all the time. And that's just an average, because there are still folks that are trying to register and having trouble, or perhaps are on our roll and are going to make a different decision. So those numbers are still, particularly in kindergarten, they're changing quite a bit. All the other grade levels have held steady for several weeks now, but we have, the kindergarten sizes look very good this year. And another question, yes, only asynchronous learning is required. So only the videotaped lessons that you can do anytime, anywhere, that is all that is required. That is where attendance and grades will be taken. Is there a weekly deadline for completing materials? The teachers will lay that out for you. They will let you know, what assignments, when, where, and again, tomorrow actually is our district training on Florida virtual learning. So you have to understand, again, we are learning right along with you all. So they haven't even gotten their hands on this curriculum. It's happening. It just got dumped into our system today for kind of a preview, and then all day tomorrow they'll be learning more about it. So we will be able to answer that question much better next week. And then I see a question that says, what does required mean for a kindergartner? Can you expand on that? And any other questions? I think we've hit them all. Yes, there are grades in kindergarten, and yes, they must log in. So truancy is related to attendance. I mean, if you're logging in each day, then you are attending. There are exceptions, obviously. If you run into tech-related issues or connectivity issues, just email the school. You will not, I mean, if you were in the PTO meeting recently, my computer hard drive might have crashed. And so, I mean, things happen. And as long as you tell us you can't get in, it's a tech issue, that's an excused absence. If it's anything COVID related, those are excused absences. So as long as you're communicating with the school and it's a, related illness or those other exceptions, those will be excused. And as long as you're logging in, then you have attended. We have a question about if we're doing education at home but want to remain enrolled, do we have to do the assignment? So if you want to remain enrolled in Metro, yes, you will need to complete the lessons. You will need to log in for attendance. So yes. You're welcome. And again, yes, we are virtual through Labor Day. So just to make that clear, the district is, I'm sure everyone's heard, they're working with Metro Health and the mayor's office and whatnot. So they have very clear guidelines about when and if we might go to in-person learning. And we've also been told that we will get at least a 2-week advance notice, because we all need to get our lives together in classrooms together for that phase. And also obviously parents would need to adjust their schedule. So there will be at least a 2-week notice of whenever that shift might happen. But we are virtual at least through Labor Day. And another question, will synchronous help students with asynchronous assignments and lessons? Yes, it should support and kind of parallel those. So yes, it would be very helpful to be in those. Once we find out our child's teacher, will they be able to provide the parent access code for Schoology? Likely on next week. So probably not today. As soon as you find out today, don't email and ask, because again, that training is tomorrow and they will be busy migrating all of those modules into their own Schoology accounts, is my best understanding. And so then, yes, next week, you will get those access codes. Again, though, next week is full of asynchronous, which means pre-taped lessons you can watch anytime. It's full of those lessons specifically for social emotional learning. So next week will be a time to breathe, get used to technology, maybe get a place in your house set up for learning, and start practicing by logging into those asynchronous lessons that the district will be sending out. So keep an eye out for that information.
Can I jump in here? When we do email you, letting you know like we're your child's teacher, it would be helpful if you would just send a reply back saying, hey, I got the email. That way we can kind of check off that we have the correct email address for you and that we've made contact. And then once we have more answers, of course, we will send all of that out. But just a quick reply back, got it, looking forward to a good year, whatever, that would be appreciated.
So there's a question about, on average, how long will the asynchronous portion take? I use the example of, honestly, that's a hard question to answer because children's learning paces are so different, or people's are so different. I'm guessing, say Miss Hobgood is super fast processor, she's really sharp, she could get the lesson done maybe in 10 minutes. I read slower on average, real life. Process, takes me, I like to take more time to process. It might take me 30 minutes. So it's really, really hard to guess. We might have a better idea again once the teachers get their hands on that tomorrow, but a lot of that just depends on your child and their learning pace. Question about as long as the child has a laptop or internet, no laptop or a table and internet, no laptop is needed. I'm guessing you meant tablet. So yes, as long as you have, the district has answers in terms of most devices will log into Schoology. If you are trying to do that, Tuesday and it's not working, we have laptops at school. You probably heard we had our first deployment last night for families with no devices, and we had a big turnout. And then tonight we're running another deployment from 4 to 6. If you have, 2 or 3 children in your house and they each, then we can give you that second and maybe third device. It depends on our supplies. We also have hotspots. So if you have connectivity issues, we should have some more hotspots. All of those were delivered though, based on our survey. So if you answered the survey, that's how many we were given. If you didn't get a chance to answer that survey, then you probably, the teacher, once you find out who they are, will have to enter the information, so then the district can send us more. We want to make sure everyone's taken care of. And to be clear, yes, the district did buy $13 million of laptops. So eventually everybody will have one of their own. But right now we are giving Sylvan Park laptops. And a quick shout out actually to PTO. The fundraiser last year bought us 121 new laptops, and that is saving us right now. We are actually had those re-imaged and are giving those, putting those right into the hands of our students. So that fundraiser last year was huge. And I really encourage you to be part of PTO and support the school, because that is a great example of how helpful that is. And coming on, pick up lunch. That's a great question. Yes, all cafeterias in every school will be open. So the time keeps changing. The latest that I heard, it was 11 to 12:30. The cafeteria at school will be open, and this is to go only. So again, keep checking social media because that time might change again. But 11 to 12:30 is the time block. We tried to design our schedules so that people had at least an hour somewhere in that time so you could run over and get the meals. You will get, everybody gets breakfast for free. So you'll get 2 meals when you come. The breakfast is free, and then you will get a lunch. If you qualify for a free reduced lunch, then you can obviously you'll get the free lunch, or it will be 40 cents for reduced. Even if you don't qualify and you need to pay for lunch, you can still come and pick up a lunch. No money can be exchanged for, they just don't want people having to have that much contact. So My School Bucks is where you will pay. It's an online system and all of that information. Keep an eye out on that PTO newsletter and their social media. Our PTO does an amazing job informing all families. So if you have questions about that, My School Bucks is how you'll pay. Information is there, or on the district website, obviously. So I hope that answers that question. If we enroll today, how quickly will we get the information? It usually takes 24 to 48 hours for that to roll in. So we keep checking rosters each day, and yes, new kids, two kids fell out overnight and three more enrolled. So we're still playing that game of being enrolled and then transferring. Will there be another time next week to pick up school supply kits? Most likely, yes. I mean, obviously, we'll see how many are left over tonight. If it's only a few, we might just call those few families. If it's a bunch, then we'll likely do another pickup, because I know people are on vacation or had other plans. And it was a short notice. The district gave us a quick turnaround timeline. I'm going to let the teachers answer this one. There's a question, guys, about thoughts on how to support kids getting to know their classmates and form friendships so they're not just faces on a screen. Any feedback about that?
We'll help to facilitate a lot of that in our morning meeting times during the synchronous part of our schedule. We'll play some games, and yes, there are some games that can be played on Zoom. They look different, and they will be different. And then we also encourage families to share contact information with each other, and you could set up your own Zoom meeting with a friend to get to know them better. So it's a smaller group setting and they can talk one-on-one with each other. And then as other ideas, we'll definitely share other ways to do that and to facilitate that as we're learning that too. It was a little bit different in spring because we had already built those relationships in person. So it kind of an easier transition, but we will definitely be spending a lot of time throughout the whole year. This is something that we do all the time throughout the whole year, is just to keep building those relationships. But we'll definitely spend a lot of time in the beginning, those 2 weeks, getting kids talking on the Zoom, sharing what their favorite things are so that they can say, oh, that friend, oh, Miss Doyle really likes dolphins too. So, I like dolphins, crazy example.
And in our schedule, like Ms. Hopkins said, that beginning 8:15, 8:30 time will be our morning meeting and that's when we spend most of our time learning each other's names and getting to know each other. So especially for the first couple of weeks, that'll be side specifically for that.
This is probably also a good time to mention that we have room parents for each homeroom, and often those parents will then organize sharing of information and maybe play dates or different things like that. Obviously, typically there would have been a kindergarten get to know you, maybe a play date before school started at the playground, things like that, and we can't do that right now. But that room parent will help facilitate some of those relationships as well. So keep an eye out for that. A spiritware question, how quickly will we get it when ordered? Ruth, can you answer that turnaround time?
Yes, I just typed in an answer. So it depends on how many orders we receive. You know, like if they're just trickling in, the vendor may wait a little longer to collect more and then do a print run. But it's generally every couple of weeks he would pull orders and print them. Currently, for future orders until we're back in person, it would be really helpful if parents could choose the ship to home option. It's a $6 flat rate shipping fee. If that is not something that your family can afford, please contact the PTO at pto.spark@gmail.com and we can work out a way to get the shirt delivered to you. But it would really be helpful just organizing contactless delivery if you would just pay the $6 and ship to home until we're back in person.
There's a question about how soon will recording for synchronous learning or class sessions be available for viewing. So that will start the week after next. And I want to say it's August 10th. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. The week of August 10th is when that synchronous learning will begin. But next week, again, the district will be pushing out those asynchronous lessons. And there's a question about which 3 days math will be taught. That is on the schedule that's posted, I believe, and teachers correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
We have math every day for 35 minutes.
Oh, that's right. You guys chose the shorter blocks. I apologize. It is, we have different grade levels, shows different things. So yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, I think that we have answered all of your questions. I hope that we have. We are not going away. You just won't see our faces on the screen. You will learn today who your teacher is, so then you'll have a direct line for questions. Keep an eye out, obviously, a lot on the PTO website and social media sites. Again, we'll be sending out that Weebly link where all of our school information, schedules, anything you might, teacher contact information, office hours, all of that, those apps that we talked about will be. A parent is asking if we will be emailing the PowerPoint presentation. Are you all open to that? We can also, yes, we can put it on the Weebly link, and this session right now is being recorded. So you will have that. Ms. Butler can speak to where you will be able to find that recording. I think that's a question as well, Ruth.
Yeah, so we'll post it once I get it uploaded to the PTO website and put it out on, and then link it, on all the social media. This maybe is a good time. I kind of messed up the beginning and didn't jump in at the beginning, but I wanted to let everyone know. I'm Ruth Butler and I'm the PTO president, and our PTO is open to all members of our school community. We do not charge dues, so unfortunately, right now, there are not going to be in-person events, but anytime we would have, a Zoom, or if we can come back in person, anyone can come. You don't have to sign up and be a member. You're a parent, you're a caregiver, you're a member of our PTO automatically. So welcome to our school community. We're so excited to have you.
I will also mention, we have a little surprise for all of the kindergarten families. So if you find something in your yard early next week, you didn't get hazed by anybody. We're delivering a special welcome. So keep an eye out for that as well. All right, we are going to jump off. We have a full day of PD so that we can learn more answers to all of your questions. And feel free to reach out with any, we're here for you. Welcome, and we're glad you are part of the Sylvan Park family. It's an amazing place, amazing place. Thank you all.